Okay, so I put together a little guide with some tips on buying a used computer, particularly a laptop, from another individual. Let's get right to it. Okay, so here are some serious red flags that should have you walking away from any transaction. If they want you to wire them money by Western Union or pay by PayPal and have them ship it to you. Shipping is fine if you're buying off eBay, but never pay by Western Union. A missing power adapter is a big red flag. This usually means one of three things. The most likely case is the computer was stolen and they simply never got the power adapter with it. Another possibility is that they actually do have the power cord, but they pretend they lost it because the computer just doesn't work. Or there's something they don't want you to see. So it's easier for them to just say, "Hey man, you can just buy a new power cord on eBay for $15. Don't fall for this. If you can't power it on, don't buy it. Here's another problem. If you turn the computer on and it has a password, then you ask the seller what the password is and he doesn't know. This also likely means the computer is stolen. He'll try to convince you that you can send it back to the manufacturer and have the password cleared. But as soon as they run the serial number and see that it's stolen, they'll ship it back to the original owner. So don't fall for this either. And I guess I'll throw this in too. Anything that sounds too good to be true probably is, especially if the seller seems in a hurry to sell it. So, if you're buying locally and you can inspect the computer, then you should take a few minutes to test it out. You do the same thing if you're buying a used car. Bring a CD or DVD with you. Make sure it's one that you don't care about. Stick it to the computer and make sure it can read it. I know it isn't always possible, but see if you can connect to something with wireless. Typically, if the computer can actually see some wireless stations, even if you don't know the password, this generally means the Wi-Fi is working. Try turning up the volume and make sure the speakers work. And while you're at it, connect some headphones to the computer and make sure that you can hear through both speakers. Also try jiggling it around a bit. Often these jacks get broken when somebody trips on a cable, and as a result, the jack will work intermittently. You should test the webcam. On a MacBook, just open up Photo Booth for a quick test. The power connector. If you have a MacBook with a MagSafe power connector, you can probably skip this. But if it's a Windows PC with a jack like this, these get damaged all of the time by people tripping over the cables. So make sure it works and try jiggling it around a bit to see if it has a good connection. Check the USB ports. Mostly what you're looking for are ones that are broken from somebody yanking a cable out sideways. Check the screen hinges. The screen should stay open on its own at any angle without falling. It should be very sturdy. If it seems loose, it's probably because the hinges are damaged. Also make sure the screen doesn't flicker when moving the screen back and forth. This could be a sign of a damaged cable internally. You should check the battery. On Apple products, you can go to the system profiler and see how many cycles the battery's been through. If it's more than 400, you know the battery's at the end of its life. If it's 600 or more, it's probably just about dead. One last thing, check the keyboard. Open something like Notepad and just try out every key. See if any of them feel sticky or fail to type the correct character. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy a computer if one or more of these things turns out to be broken. Just make sure you know what you're getting. So then you ask, is it a good deal? Well, in order to determine its value, you really need to get the exact model number. Then you should be able to determine its age, which is very important. I've created a chart here to sort of help you out. Anything older than 3 years is starting to become out of date, but should still be usable for most things. Once you get around 7 to 8 years old, the computer is totally obsolete and you should probably be avoided unless you know exactly what you're dealing with. You can also check eBay's completed listings. I don't mean live listings, but ones that have actually already sold. This way you can see not what people are asking for the computer, but what they've actually sold for. Also factor in any warranty. If the seller's backing it with a full money-back guarantee, then that's always worth something. You should also investigate what a brand new computer costs. Pawn shops are notorious about overpricing used equipment, knowing that the buyer will automatically assume it's a good deal just because it's used. In many cases, you can buy a brand new one for the same price or even cheaper. I'd also like to point out that after you buy a used computer, you should probably consider wiping the hard drive and completely reinstalling all of the software. Here's several good reasons why. The computer could be infected with viruses or other malicious software. It could contain porn, or even worse, child porn, which could land you in prison if found on your computer. It could have spyware that the seller put there so they can watch what you're doing online or activate your webcam and snap nude photos of you. It could contain pirated software or movies or music, which might get you into trouble. And last but not least, it will probably just run a lot better with a fresh, clean software load. Well, I hope you found the video useful. I get inundated with emails from people asking me what I think about a particular deal. They'll send me a link to an eBay or Craigslist posting, and they'll be like, do you think this is a good deal? And to be honest, I really just don't have the time to go look at them. And even when I do, half the time the auction is already closed by the time I get to look at it. So it's really no point in sending those to me. So I put this video together to try to help people decide for themselves whether they should buy a particular computer or not. I want to throw in one other little tip, especially if you're buying a Mac. There is a great website. It's been around for years, and it's called www.everymac.com. If you go to this website, you can pretty much find the detailed specifications of any Apple computer all the way back into the 1980s and up to what the current versions are. Now, they do have estimated street price on there, but I wouldn't go by that. From what I can see, their street prices are always out of date. They're usually a bit high. In many cases, they're double what an actual computer is selling for. But if you're just going there for the specifications, you want to find out what a particular model has, it's a great resource. It's also useful if somebody says, well, I've got a MacBook and it's this processor speed. Well, in many cases, you can still use that information to go through there and find out what the model number is, and also find out how old the computer is. So anyway, leave me some comments. Tell me what you'd like to see in the next video. And if you happen to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you'd like to do a joint video with me sometime, let me know about that too. And I'll see you next time.